Whenever people talk about advances, the latest, and you use the word super specialty I hear than anywhere else in the world. And if you do the fundamentals right, learning the fundamentals again and again, I think that is super specialty. No financial interest in this kind of a talk I'm giving. The diagnosis of keratoconus still, among the experts who spend all their life in keratoconus, still very small number of people. Still we do not know whether it's keratoconus or not. So whenever you are thinking about LASIK, any refractive surgery where the 20/20 eye can be corrected to 20/20 eye, watch carefully, be conservative. Suspicious findings on topography, even the slightest, even on the internet, you have enormous number of these keratographs and the keratoconus, early keratoconus slides are there. An educated patient knows about some of those subjects more than us because of internet today. We all know the word, younger colleagues do know primum nocere. In Greek says, at least first do no harm to the patient. And that's one, you should know the basics well, and remember the basics, and as well the individual patient, when you are counseling, you must remember those basics, not theoretically from the book. Early keratoconus, pellucid marginal degeneration, Tyrians, contact lens swab page, they all look like keratoconus. We still do not know the corneal thickness should be, is it 250, 280, 300 microns. But we know very well, beyond 280 is pretty good one, but still we know because the nature has created the cornea to be, let's say average 0.54. Anything you are taking out from the cornea may not be the right thing, but that is the right thing today. Unpredictable progress, atopic dermatitis, these are all associated with keratoconus, and even eye rubbing can cause keratoconus, we know. Removing the tissue with a laser, not in the best interest of the patient, and the potential problems, at least there are a few, I don't know here, a few cases of medical legal problems that the patient developed keratocacia, a keratoconus, in a perfectly normal 20/20 eye. Asking for trouble because you are already working with a structurally weak cornea, especially this patient has an early keratoconus, everything looks good, and patient is asking you to do the keratoconus, LASIK, because you did his next door neighbor. Always tell them you are not the next door neighbor. And the literature and interpretation. If at all you believe something and you want to believe that what you believe, you go to the literature, something will support you today. There is something in the literature that will support you, whatever you believe. That doesn't mean this is truth and it may not be right for the patient. There are so many conditions associated with keratoconus. Not enough research is being done at all. Today, 80% of the money is spent on 20% of the problems, because there are incredible problems out there, especially in developing countries. I always say India is a highly developed country with developing country problems. We can go to the Mars, or we sent a rocket to the Mars, but in child health, we are below Sudan. We must think in those terms. With the ever-expanding number of peer-reviewed journals, not to mention throwaway journals, there are always so many throwaway journals we get every day. It is getting harder and harder to not only keep up with the latest developments, but also to sift through the literature to find what is important. Otherwise, you spend hours and hours. If we did not know what is important, our clinical care is not good. Contact lenses still. Exceptional contact lens practice can fit most of the keratoconus patients very well even today. Actually, there are so many advances today, but it is the comfort, and the patient heard about other things and he wants LASIK and other things. KOLs are an exceptional one, but we don't do as many as they do in other countries. Intacs and cross-linking is an exceptional procedure in the last 10 years. And of course, corneal transplant. I did a large number of corneal transplants, PKPs. But in the last 11 years, I have not done a single PKP in a keratoconus patient. Either I do intacs, followed by glasses, or contacts, or a lamellar corneal graft. It is a tricky procedure, but we learned you're all superb surgeons. But we have to do the fundamentals right, not just surgery. Even Barricades times, we are talking about almost 55 years ago, they said a best refractive procedure is you should not remove tissue, you should not invade the central cornea, and easy reversibility. The famous LASIK procedure today, all over the world, violates all the three principles of refractive surgery, yet very happy patients, but there are a lot of miserable patients too. Have you known there is a website on the internet why you should not get LASIK done? Anybody looked at it? There is another one, dissatisfiedlasicpatients.com. Anybody looked at it? People looking at it, just try to look at them. But still, I'm not speaking against it. I'm LASIK surgeon in our area. I'm the senior most surgeon. I taught and I do all the time LASIK. But I always give away this monies to the foundation so that if I do a LASIK patient in the United States, somebody will get a congenital cataract surgery done, or 50 to 60 patients somewhere in developing countries to get glasses. Because the second most common vision problem today in this world is people not getting glasses. Think about that. There are so many wonderful advances still basic scientists, PhDs are doing with keratoconus in the experimental way. Many report success with surface ablation in keratoconus too, but some people question whether that is real keratoconus. There are quite a few papers, more than 40-50 papers. Somebody did early keratoconus, they did very well. Some question whether it is real keratoconus or just look like. Still we don't have that very small number of people. Is it early keratoconus? Is it a normal cornea? We still would not know. And we see the older slide, NTAX graft delay, but I have not done a single. I must have done more than 70, 80 cases of NTAX. I have no corneal transplant was done on those patients. And here is after the femtosecond laser came, either keratoconus, even in some myopic patients I still do NTAX, especially an engineer who is very particular about, he knows the rules of refractive surgery, 3 rules we discussed. And with the femtosecond laser, the NTAX became incredible. Is anybody does NTAX here in this room? Yeah. I tried to get with some companies and things like that, but it did not work out and I gave up. But probably this is one of the greatest procedure even for early myopia. Let's say a 2.53 diopters myopic guy. If you put NTAX, when he becomes 40, you can take out the NTAX, bring it back to myopia so that you have blended vision. Incredible things can be done, but still, it's not attractive because unless the companies and the physician leaders think about truly what is best for the patient in a non-economic way, which is very difficult to understand. It is very difficult way to think non-economic way today. Everything depends upon the economics. But the femtosecond laser made incredible how beautiful this procedure is. Central cornea not invaded, no tissues removed, easily reversible in the slick lamp. You can put up topical drops and just scratch that wound and remove. And this is almost like 7 years after NTAX. This patient is still wearing glasses or contact lenses, doing fine. This is the one the Indian Ophthalmic Society gave me a gold medal almost 10 years ago. We did it because I believed in this procedure. What's happening? Don't cut me out, Rajat, give me a few minutes. please. And this is the one intact when it was introduced. It had such a crude procedure. It was a very difficult procedure. Nobody did it. In my state in West Virginia, I was the only one who did it for year after year. But once the femtosecond laser came, it was beautiful. And the suction ring, if anything you want to make a groove into the cornea, like in LASIK, when the flap, there is a suction apparatus, then you cut with a diamond blade, crude instrumentation, you make a pocket, then there is a guide where you make pockets with a crude steel, stainless steel instruments. But in spite of all this, it did not violate the three principles of refractive surgery. The LASIK as we do in the next few years, it will not be, because just like when ECC came, there is no magnification. We are talking about 130 years ago. They went to ICC because there is no technology, no illumination. And all complications of ECC, they went to ICC. Then why did we come back to ECC? Because it is the right basic, once you understand the basic sciences, we wanted that barrier and technology, and we could do it much better. From ECC we went to ICC, then we went to ECC again because it is the right thing to do. That was done almost 10 years ago. We followed the patient almost up to 7 years. After that, we've lost him. Why can't I go to the next slide? Keratoconus is a non-inflammatory. These are very fundamental things, but always review your fundamentals and basic sciences. I spend almost 1/3 of my time in research with the basic scientists. There are wonderful things that the geology of the keratoconus, they're all gained, and the research continues. And there is distorted vision, these all books will have these things. And don't forget, you keep on using drugs, in this world today and the planet, 80% of the drugs are used by 20% of the patients. 80% of the drugs, who can afford, they get the drugs. Simple cold compresses and some drops, these allergies you can always have. Thermokeratoplasty was done. Now lamellar keratoplasty is coming back again because you don't want to do change the endothelium in a keratoconus patient. So at one time, India pioneered the lamellar keratoplasty. It is coming back again because basic sciences was the right thing to do. I can't go anymore? No? Can you just, 1 minute? Thank you. This is the last slide. No? Yeah. 2 slides. This is the one and the last one. The meta-analysis was done with 28,000 cases of LASIKs, and they analyzed, finally made into 20,000 meticulous analysis of all the procedures, cosmetic procedures. Still, in a way, LASIK procedure we can't connect with rhinoplasty and abdominoplasty, but still, the LASIK patient is the most satisfied patient among all these procedures in the world today. So it is a wonderful procedure, but watch it before you do. Anybody can identify this may be the most famous slide in refractive surgery? Huh? No, I'm glad he said no. I'm having good time because I said no. Remember that? Yeah. Half a minute, let me tell you this. Seto is a brilliant ophthalmologist, built his own clamp. One patient, keratoconus they did not know all about it, but keratoconus patient one day called him. Sir, something happened yesterday, I had a little pain and discomfort. I'm able to see better. Immediately Seto asked him to come. Like me, if they were in the same position, hey, keratoconus patient, you won't see any better. It is all in your mind. I would have said that one without thinking. But he asked him, he looked at it, and he had his own simple keratometer, the cornea flattened. After Descemet's ruptured fluid interest, what do you call that in Descemet, in keratoconus? Eye drops. Cornea flattens, patient's vision improves. So he found that one and kept on cutting on high myopia cases. These are all, look at how beautiful surgeon he was, but there is already bullous keratopathy, but some people did very well. That's how the pioneers do certain things without understanding all the, at that time there is no answer, knowledge of endothelium. So we have to do the right things, but we must understand the basic science. And the best LASIK is not a prolate cornea. You all think about prolate cornea and oblate cornea. God has created us like an eagle cornea, prolate, but most of this LASIK, or probably all of them, I don't know, still make the cornea oblate with a spherical aberration and potential problems. But it's a still great procedure. Think about prolateness with the cornea, allowing me to speak a little more.